Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Transformers, the show where I, David, and my co host Andy talk about Transformers because that is the thing that we love. And as you can tell by the title of this video, and also because of the fact that the picture has this character on it, we are talking about the brand new Power of the Primes Red Alert, the figure that I have been waiting for about 5 years now, I think. Andy, we're going to break this down as we always do. We're going to talk about robot mode and we're going to talk about vehicle mode. I've got the vehicle mode, you've got the robot mode. Where do you want to start?
The Age of the Primes Red Alert is a figure that I think we were both really keen on, weren't we? We were looking forward to getting in hand. And I like him. I think he has a lot of positives to him. There are some things I think maybe could be improved on a little bit, but I certainly like him. Now, my thing is, you've owned, haven't you, Dave, the
Yes.
original? Is that right? You've had the original. Now, I haven't had the original
Okay.
of this, so I've never had that in hand. And I had this conversation with Chris McFeely, and I haven't got it to compare, so I can't really say, oh, it's better than the original. It's not. But I think it's a really good bot, and I love the look of him to start off with. I just think, like, as a modern update of Red Alert, he looks great. I mean, I know the character, what he looks like. And in my mind, I always think back to that computer game, with the Transformers computer game from the early 2000s.
Transformers.
Which wasn't called Transformers Armada.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, just called Transformers. And obviously, your three playable characters, Red Alert, Optimus Prime, and Hotshot as well. And so it's really nice to have like three modern versions of them that I can kind of put together on a shelf. So that's the first thing I'd say about it. As a toy, I think he is very good, but not quite great for me. I have one or two issues just with the tolerances on and the tightness of the joints. I said this to you before we started. On the one hand, I'd be moaning if it was loose joints. I'd be complaining about it, as I do, because that's one of my pet hates is loose joints on a figure. But then, certainly the first couple of times I've transformed him, the joints, some of them, I had to put so much pressure on them, and I was very nervous.
There's a little bit of awkward thumb, won't lie, when you're moving them around, yeah.
Yeah. And there's little things, just like I had it in vehicle mode, obviously, and the first time I tried to get it back, I could not for the life of me get his head back out again because the tightness on the actual hinge for his head was so tight that I needed in the end to get something just to wedge in there to gently try and pull it up. But even
it's interesting that you say that because the swivel on which the head rests is actually one that I don't have an issue with on mine.
Right.
But
there you go.
The ball joint on which the head rests, like, I am terrified of turning this guy's head. Like, it
I get
it
that
feels
totally.
like at any point his neck's just going to snap.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a weird turn of the head, isn't it? Because it doesn't just turn side to side. It's like it turns
swivels up and
down and back up.
And to be honest,
it's mine the same.
I think that's because of how tight the joint is, that it doesn't have, or it's hindering the full range of motion that the head would normally be able to offer.
Yeah. And I know, I know for a fact there'll be people watching this who will be quite happy to, pop the head off a figure and just file things down or whatever they need to do just to make it a little bit easier. And that's fine because, if you're happy doing that, that's great. But for me, I know I'd break it if I did something. I know I'd snap something. So, other than that, other than those things, and I don't think those are huge issues. They're kind of more mild annoyances. I do love the look of him. He's been downstairs on the wife's been overjoyed. He's been downstairs on my dining room table alongside Hotshot and Optimus Prime, as I just like try and line them up to look the way I wanted them to. And yeah, I still think it's a very good bot mode. I think once you've got him into it, I mean, you've got play options as well, haven't you? With the weaponry and the kind of little clip-on accessories and things. I think you've got some options there with how you display it. So, like, got him holding his, what do we call it,
Yes.
cannon,
Yeah.
rifle, but that can also be attached to his back, which I think is, I think we forget about the playability element sometimes because we're so, right, we've got a toy, let's put it on our shelf and display it. But these are toys; these are meant to be played with and enjoyed, and it's nice that the designers are still trying to add some of that playability into it, even if we're not necessarily getting everything we would have got previously from an Armada toy. So there you go. And now he has a shoulder cannon. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the robot mode, to say the least. And it's just really nice to have the three of them together.
Yeah. So I've got this weird thing going on with Red Alert at the minute, which is, as you correctly point out, I did own the original. It was, one of the early toys that I got when I got back into collecting, because that was when Armada was kicking off. And right now, I think this toy catches me at a very particular time, because over the course of the last several weeks and months, I have been incredibly nostalgic for early 2000s Transformers, whether that be obviously the Dreamwave comics, but also as well, like, remembering how much I enjoyed the Armada comics from Dreamwave. A lot of people talk about, the G1 ongoing, and it seems to dominate the conversation. But the Armada comics are, to my mind, like what Armada is, because the cartoon is here or there. It's whatever. It gets better, certainly, but it really suffers from that early 2000s Pokemon-esque kind of issue. Whereas the comics, especially when Simon Furman takes over with issue 7, really just becomes its own thing. And because nobody was really paying attention to what was going on, he's basically able to craft his own, like, little Armada universe for what actually ends up being like 7 issues before it turns into Energon. So all of this, again, just been super nostalgic about it. We've had Optimus Prime and Hotshot and Megatron and Starscream for quite a while now, and then I've been desperate for this guy, and he has arrived, and, like, I can try and separate the nostalgia out of it and say, like, he doesn't come with a minicon. He's lost his minicon accessory. He doesn't constantly say red alert over and over and over and over again until the point where you want to literally choke the batteries out of him. He doesn't come with his weapon storage that he previously had. He's a lot smaller. There's all of this working against him, but I just love this dude. And I love him because, and again, we've talked about this before, what I'm after is sort of just representations of the characters in their purest form, and scale wise, working so well with the other two figures that we have is really, really nice. But he maintains so much of that original spirit of the original Red Alert toy. There's not much that Hasbro has done here to evolve the design. We've certainly had characters where, oh, it is, let's say, for example, Chromia, Earthspark Chromia. That's not Earthspark Chromia. It just isn't. Like, that is not her design at all in that show. You're just making things up. No, sorry, I'm saying Earthspark. I don't mean Earthspark. I mean Cyberverse. That, or am I? I can't remember. It all blurs into one. But it's not. That's just a rig paint of a character, and it has no bearing on them whatsoever. Red Alert is perfect.
Yeah.
I love the transformation. I think the transformation is super basic. Like, if you're coming for a complex transformation, you are not going to find it here. But
No.
I find that's part of the charm of it, because that's exactly what the original Red Alert was. And don't get me wrong, this has at least 2 or 3 extra steps to it over that original toy. But at the same time, it's super fun. So I really like it. In terms of robot mode, and this actually goes for vehicle mode as well, I would have liked some extra storage for the extra bits that come with him. and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't need these. They're just sort of there to make up, I guess, the price point, because of the fact that this is a Voyager figure, when, you know, in years gone by, this absolutely would have been a deluxe, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit disappointing, but I overall, I like it. The only thing that I was thinking about, and I don't know how you feel about this, given the fact that he doesn't come with his minicon companion, which was it Long Arm? I want to say it was Long Arm, but I could be wrong about that.
Sounds right.
Is And this has been my issue with Optimus Prime and Hotshot, which is, why didn't they just sculpt in the minicon ports? It's
Yeah, so at least you could
it,
use the old ones if you'd wanted to, or something like
exactly.
that.
Now, the only other thing that I was thinking is, he does come with, several 3 mil ports, you know, and
Yes.
you can stick things in, and it doesn't look particularly good. But I was wondering, in this age of 3D printing, whether or not somebody could 3D print a on one side a 3 mil peg, and on the other side a minicon port. That doesn't seem like a
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they
complex
could.
issue. But yeah, that's what I think
No.
of him in robot mode in general. Vehicle mode, I've got him here in vehicle mode, obviously. It is super basic, and do you know what? He's got a minicon
What have
port.
you noticed?
It's it,
Where are we looking?
it's on the top, on the red plastic. I've never noticed it, because the red plastic, it's right at the back of the red plastic strip.
Oh
Hold
yeah.
on, I need to get a
Ha!
minicon. Hold on.
How did we not
Like,
notice
genuinely, I've just
that? This is live. This is
hold on.
happening
I'm
live.
going to
How did we not
find a
spot that?
minicon. Bear with me. Talk to the audience.
I was just thinking to myself, you know, you mentioned about the storage for his little bits and pieces that plug into his arm and his cannon. They do plug in, don't they? There are slots for them inside of the legs on each side, and then there is another one which is just in the back compartment there, so you can store all three pieces away. Um, which I only found out after actually looking at the instructions, because I'm one of those people that will start without the instructions and then eventually realize, oh yeah, I probably should check just to make sure that everything is right.
I can't.
How are you getting on with
I
those?
can't find me minicons.
You didn't sell
No,
them,
no.
did you?
I kept the minicons. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Right. I will be right back.
this is probably going to be edited. Oh dear. And there you have it, audience. This is what happens when you record.
No, I can't
Realizations.
find the minicons.
No.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He appears to have a minicon port. No, hold on. I'll be right
Have you got
back.
any of the new figures? Leave all this in. This is peak. This is the content we all come here for.
I was thinking to myself,
Oh,
I have
dear.
to have a minicon around here somewhere, because I kept only so many of the Armada stuff. But one Armada figure that I definitely kept was Unicron.
Of course.
Right.
There we
Here's the
are.
test. Does this actually work?
Ooh.
It does not work. It's not a functioning minicon port.
Oh.
Why?
Does it work with any of the mini? You know, they've done a couple of new minicons, haven't they? There was the Hotshot that came with a minicon in his. When he changed colours in the show in the Unicron battles,
All right.
and there was.
So
Hey, wait,
it does work, but if so, it does work. There is a minicon port on him. But if that minicon port were to snap while it's in there, it would not surprise me.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe not one to mess around
No,
with too much.
but yes.
But the fact that it's got a minicon port, do you think that could, at some point in the future, point to them getting some minicons out there in some form, even if it was just like they did the 10-pack of Micromasters once.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do something like that just to get some minicons for your Armada bots. And
I think so. I don't see any reason why they couldn't do that. I mean, I would perhaps suggest that minicons, in terms of general appeal, there's probably more appeal for minicons than there is Micromasters, because I don't know,
Possibly.
maybe possibly, but yeah, okay. So everything that I said about him not having minicon ports, ignore it. He does have one. I wouldn't recommend it with an original minicon, and yeah.
Try it with a new one.
So ultimately, I suppose he has a minicon
Yeah.
port, but he can do that in vehicle mode, and he can pop his gun out, and it looks as goofy in this toy as it did with the original.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
That's another thing, maybe, isn't it? That like the original toy had some goofy elements to it, but because of the play pattern, and it, you know, I know it's a much loved toy. This to me looks the more mature version because they've removed some of those gimmicks, and the need for things like the battery pack and everything is gone. But it's still got that fun element to it, and he's just a cool character, Red Alert.
yeah,
just...
yeah. I like it. We now have the trio. Again, I've said this plenty of times before. If you're not going to give us any more Armada figures, then I'm cool with it. But I am holding out for a Demolisher and Cyclonus just to finish off the Decepticons. You know, but yeah, like overall, I'm super happy with him. But I can understand why he's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea, because again, it's the super basic transformation. It's the fact that a lot of the gimmick and a lot of the fun factor of that original toy was stripped out. Personally, for me, again, I don't mind losing any of that. But yeah, and he does have a minicon port, so yeah.
Like... yes. Nothing like having that realization.
Exactly.
I know. Do you know? I really hadn't even spotted it there.
Genuinely, I think it's because it's molded in that just see-through red plastic.
Yeah.
Unless you're catching it at the right point. Yeah, it's very weird. And I don't know how much time this guy has like spent on my desk, and I've just been fiddling around with him, and I've just never noticed it. I guess probably because of the fact that, for the most part, you and I always have them in robot mode, so that's folded away on his back.
That's the thing.
So, but yeah, that was an impromptu and hey, look, very professional review of
highly professional.
Age of the Primes Red Alert. Let us know what you think of Red Alert down below in the comments. And let us know which other Unicron Trilogy figure you would like to see Hasbro tackle in the future. But for now, I've been David. This has been Andy. Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, everyone.
And we will catch you all later in the next video. Bye.